Hi guys, this is a very long overdue update on the Slynd. I wanted to come back and give you guys a quick update on the Slynd birth control. As some of you know, I was on the Slynd for 9 months back in, I want to say 2021 to 2022. I had my son 2020 during the pandemic. I breastfed for a year and a half. Then when I stopped breastfeeding, I went on the Slynd. I was on the Slynd for about 9 months and then I stopped. Um, I was experiencing a lot of mood swing, fatigue, and depression, and I kind of contributed all of those symptoms towards Slynd. But at the time, I was in the process of trying to purchase a home in another state. So it was a very stressful time. I had just stopped breastfeeding my son, so my hormones were getting back in place. Then I went on the pill, and on top of that, I had gotten a new job from I went from being stay-at-home mom to working full-time from home and then being on Slynd and trying to purchase a home in another state. So, needless to say, it was a very, very stressful time. So, a lot of that may not have been a symptom of Slynd per se, as far as the fatigue and the tiredness and the mood swing. Anyway, fast forward to 2024. I did ended up purchasing the home. My family and we ended up moving to that different state. We purchased a home. I switched jobs. I still work from home, but I work for a different company that is very less stressful than the one that I was in prior. So a lot of the stress and anxiety and the workload that I had shifted. So I decided to give it another try. July 2024, I went back on Slynd. And this is what it looks like. Hopefully my camera is focusing. But this is what it looks like. Slynd. It is a progesterone only pill, no estrogen. And it's a 24-hour pill, meaning that you really have to be on top of the pill. You just have to remember to take it every day at the same time. So if you're the type of person that's very forgetful, this pill may not be for you. I have an alarm on my phone for 10 p.m. at night. I take it at night before I go to bed, so I remember. And this is what it looks like. They're mini pills, very small, very easy to swallow. And those are the sugar pills. No, wrong. Those are the sugar pills, the placebos, so you can technically get your period. And I'm going to get to that. It comes with a little pouch. It comes with a little pouch. You can put it in there. I keep it in my wallet. I just keep that in my wallet. So that way it's always with me at all times because I always have my wallet with me. The doctor recommended to start taking the Slynd on the last day of your period, if I'm remembering correctly. But I started it on the last day of my period, and my period lasts 3 days. So towards day 3, I started taking it, and then from then on. Now I don't get a period when I'm on Slynd. For whatever reason, I was told I was supposed to get a period while you on Slynd, but I don't. I don't get a period at all. I went back on Slynd on July 2024, and July 2025, July 1st, 2025, I stopped taking it just so I could get a period. I got a period towards the end of July. So I stopped it for 3 weeks in order for my period to come. I got a full blown period, 3 days, 4 days. Then on the last day, I went back on it again. So it's August 29th, I believe, 2025. So I've been back on it a month after not taking it for 3 weeks. And I purposely did not take it for 3 weeks just so I would get a period, because I went a whole year without getting a period, and I thought, that's probably not good for my health to stay without getting a period for a long period of time. So I just wanted to make sure that everything was okay. So I stopped taking it, got a period, and I'm back on it. Also, I do visit my OBGYN yearly. So I go every year to my OBGYN appointment. I get my pap smear when I'm supposed to get it. So everything is, I'm making sure everything is okay. Also, I go to my primary care. I get a full panel blood test just to make sure that everything is okay while I'm on the Slynd. Now, obviously, birth control does have some internal side effects that are asymptomatic. Overall, for the woman body, this is synthetic hormone that you're constantly giving your body in order to prevent reproduction. So it's always gonna have a negative effect. But so far for me, Slynd has revealed itself to be less symptomatic birth control that I've taken. I have been on the Depo Provera. I think that's what it's called. I have been on it for 9 months when I first got married, and that shot was the worst birth control. I think my son is screaming. Depo-Provera was probably the worst birth control I've ever been on. I took it in 2014 when I first got married, and I was on it for 9 months, and it was horrible. I would get some heavy migraines, like a pulse right on top of my eyeball. The migraines, mood swings, breast tenderness, what's it called? Spotting, constant spotting, cramps, and just overall, I just felt sick the entire time. Then, after I got off the shot, after 9 months, I went to Lowestrine, I think it's called. It's a pill birth control as well, but it's estrogen and progesterone. Slynd is progesterone only. There's no estrogen. And I think that's much better because my body doesn't do well with the estrogen. So yeah, I was on the low strain. I was on it for I think 2 3 months, and I let that go as well because it made me feel it made me feel nauseous all the time. I was constantly nauseous, headaches as well, tender breasts, and I think the estrogen is what does it because whenever I'm on birth control that has estrogen, it does make my breast tender. You know how when you're about to get your period, your cycle, and then your breast gets all, sensitive and heavy and all that feeling. That's how I was on those birth control, but all the time, every day, every day of the month. So yeah. So so far, Slynd is the only birth control that I have less symptoms on. Now with Slynd, I don't get a period, which I would have liked to get a period because I do know it's important to have the lining of your uterus shed. That's one. And then another thing, when you first get on it I do get a little bit of mood swing, but it regulates after about I want to say it regulates after about 2 to 3 months or up to 5 months. It started regulating, and then I felt myself again. The longer I am on it, the longer my body is accustomed to the birth control. Another thing that I really, really like about being on Slynd is that whenever I'm not on birth control, I go through the normal cycle of the month. What do I mean by that? So, when you're ovulating, you're feeling great. Um, Mentally, you're in tip top shape and everything is going well. Then, when you get your period, everything goes downhill, and then you feel sluggish. It's just not going well. Um, People like to joke and say there's only 1 week out of the month where the woman feels normal, and then it's just like a roller coaster. Well, that was my case. Whenever on a monthly basis, when I'm not on Slynd, um, I go through that. If you're the type of woman, ovulation period, you're feeling some type of way. Then when you're in period, you're different. Then when you are on your cycle, you're a different person. Then after you're finished with your cycle, you're a totally different person, and then so forth. Then when I got on Slynd, I was steady. After being on Slynd for 3 to 4 months, I'm not all over the place like that every week because you are constantly taking the synthetic hormone. I don't know. it balances out all those feel. So it's not, there's ovulation cycles and then after ovulation and all that. I feel the same every week of the month. So to me, that's a good thing because I don't want to feel sluggish before my period. I don't want to feel very positive during ovulation and then another week I'm feeling a different type of way. I like being steady with my emotion throughout the weeks. Um, Now, initially, the first few months is a bit rocky, but afterwards, once your body gets used to it, you're pretty steady, and that's what I enjoy about it. Also, the whole point of being on birth control, the sense of security of not, being able to have another kid. Now, granted, I have been married for over a decade. I have two children. I have a girl and a boy. So it seems like I have the best of both worlds. I had my kids in my 20s. I just got into my early 30s. So I feel like this is a perfect time for me to pour back into myself. I spent my entire 20s building my family, having my kids, working hard. We're working towards our goal, purchasing our home, and just doing a whole bunch of work and sacrifices, specifically my body, because I had two kids. I had them naturally, at home birth. I can talk about that in a different video. And breastfed for over a year. So and then I stayed at home with them for over a year. So I spent quite a lot of time being at home with my children, being pregnant, breastfeeding, doing the whole stay at home baby stage. Now my kids are a little bit older and I'm getting back to myself. I wouldn't want to start over and have another child. My husband and I, we are done having children. We feel like our family is complete with our son and our daughter. So I really don't want to start over. I want to spend my 30s focusing on myself, doing the things that I love, and just really enjoy life. Every time I have a kid, I have to take a step back to really pour into my pregnancy, really pour into my newborn in that first year of their life. And I know that, life doesn't have to stop when you have a kid, but I personally do not do anything else when I have a child. I don't want to multitask this precious little moment with my newborn or the pregnancy. I want to focus on my kid specifically. And it does, it feels like it puts me back sometimes as far as the things that I want to achieve for myself as a person outside of being a mom. So needless to say, I'm on Slynd because I don't want to have any more children and my family is complete and I'm satisfied where I'm at. Now, I wish I didn't have to be on any type of birth control at all overall. Because I do understand that there is certain things that, birth control does affect. Even if I just feel like, on the back end internally somewhere, there is, it might be negative. It might be affecting me in a way that I can't tell. But as far as I can tell, Slynd by far has been the best birth control that I've been on. It's been a year. Like I said, I went back on in July 2025. We are August 2025. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to be on birth control. I don't plan on being on birth control forever. I would love to find a more permanent solution to not having kids. I would love to find a more permanent solution as far as like, I don't know, getting your tube ties or something. But I had my kids at home and I was not, when I had my son, it was during COVID. So I was not even thinking about being in the hospital when we had the pandemic and all of that. And I just didn't even want to go to the hospital at all because I didn't want to expose myself or the child to COVID. And then your husband was not allowed to be in the hospital with you. So anyway, but yeah, I really do enjoy it. I really do like it. Now I do have insurance. Yes, I want to talk about insurance. I do have insurance. So if you don't have insurance, I think it costs $200 or more. The last time I checked, if you did not have insurance, it would cost you about $200. And that was maybe 2 to 3 years ago. So now it might be more expensive. So I don't think the 10 pound has anything to do with that. Let's see what else. No acne, no weight gain in my opinion. No period, no, the fatigue is normal. I work full time. I have 2 kids. I work from home with my 2 kids. They are homeschool. So, and then, the whole cooking, cleaning, and then we have a mini homestead lifestyle. We have some chicken, we have a garden. So it's a lot going on in my house. So the fatigue is not, I wouldn't consider it due to Slynd. It's just mainly my lifestyle. Not affected a lot of the things that I hear that birth control normally affects, besides getting a period on in my case, because I'm very regular. When I'm not on birth control, my period comes every 30 days on the dot. I can track it. I have an app on my phone, and that has never been an issue. So besides the initial mood swings when I first get on it and the initial fatigue, and then not getting my period, that has been the only con being on Slynd. But besides that, I have no other issues. I plan on being on it for, maybe I can see myself being on it for another 2 to 3 years. But if you do have insurance, great. If you don't have insurance, this is a very pricey birth control. It does have a generic brand. This is the brand name. Slynd is the brand name. And with any brand name prescription drugs, there is a generic, there is a dupe, there is a value version, if you will. I've never been on that generic version. I never wanted to try to be on that generic version. Whenever I find something that works, I'd like to stick with it, and I don't want to try a whole bunch of things and just have my body all out of whack. So, but just in case you don't have insurance and you still want to try a form of this, they do have a generic version. I forgot what it's called. If you really want to know, you can leave a comment, and then I'll search it and type it in the comment to answer your question. But there is a generic version if you can't afford this one. Luckily for me, every time I have been on it, I've had insurance that were able to cover it. If I didn't have insurance, I don't think I would be able to afford it, because it's $200 a packet, and that's just too much money. So I would have to figure out something else. But I'm grateful that I still have insurance, and insurance pays for it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to cover. No acne. Actually, my skin does better on Slynd than when I'm not on it. My skin, I don't get no acne. There's some texture to my skin, but no acne. I don't get no acne. Weight gain. I don't know if I want to contribute my little bit of weight gain to Slynd. I don't know. I have been skinny my entire life. I had my kids, and I went back. I even lost more weight after I had my kids than prior to me being pregnant. But over the past 2 years since I moved to this new state, and I don't know if it's because I'm working from home, and I don't know, but I did gain about 10 pounds over the course of 2 years. And I've only been on Slynd for a year. Back on Slynd for a year. So July to July, I've been on it for a year. But over the past 2 years, I've gained 10 pounds. So do what you want with that information. I don't think my weight gain has anything to do with Slynd. I think it's because now I'm in my 30s, and my metabolism is slowing down like a woman in their 30s. And then I've had kids and things like that. So I don't contribute the weight gain to Slynd. I have seen people being on birth control and gain significant amount of weight in, like, within months of being on that birth control. So I don't think that my 10 pound has any. Still have insurance. And then when I reach like my mid 30s, I don't know, I might have to think of a more permanent option, because I don't want to be on birth control for, like, I don't know, 6, 7 years or a decade. I want to give my body a break. So, But for my early 30s, I'm gonna be on it still, and we'll see. If you guys have any questions, you can leave them down below. I will come back and give you guys an update on that. And yes, I will talk to you guys on my next video. Bye.